Hey Alex, just want to start off by saying you did a really good job of explaining the definitions of the Bronfenbrenner's ecological systems, and you did a better job than I did of attaching it to your personal life. I graduated with a bachelor's in education studies, so I've got that teacher instinct already built in. So I always love to just explain and show my knowledge on whatever the subject is. But overall, from the sounds of it, it sounds like you had a really good childhood. You were saying you grew up in a tight knit community. It was very safe. You were active in the community with like Easter egg hunts. You said and parades. I grew up with the same kind of area like that. I grew up in a small rural town, not too small, but can be, Oregon. And they had parades and playgrounds where kids would play, and Easter egg hunts at the giant Clackamas County Fair and stuff like that. You also mentioned you went to church, and then they always had donuts and stuff at the church. Same thing for me. As a kid, that was my favorite part about the week, is having donuts at church, because sugar, you know. Sound like your mom made the time to go to your choir practices, and your dad didn't quite do it as often because he was so busy working. Also, very similar for me. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. She took care of me and my little sister. She was always going to our events as much as she possibly could. My dad sometimes would miss some here and there because at one point he was working 3 jobs to help support us. So we have that in common. You said your parents didn't fight often. They did on occasion, which, I mean, that's completely normal. It was good to hear that they didn't fight in front of you. So if they did fight, you didn't know because they didn't fight in front of you very often. To me, that's really important in child development. It helps shape the child. Personally, for me, my parents did fight a lot and openly. So me and my little sister definitely saw it quite frequently, and I think that partially did help shape me into the man I've become. Believe it or not, I'd say in a good way, because I later ended up moving out, and like I said in my previous videos, into a better environment than my grandparents' house, and I was able to see kind of what a functional household family without a lot of chaos and fighting and stuff was like. And I moved out when I was kind of in that mid-adolescence stage, so it's still pretty crucial. So I grew up with the idea of doing as much of the opposite as I could for my parents, and so far life's been treating me pretty great going on with that idea. You said your mom let you have the religious freedom of whether or not you guys wanted to go to church. I did not, but my sister did. And there's like a 4-year age group gap between us. And because of that, for a while, I did drift away from my faith, but I ended up coming back. Whereas my sister, unfortunately, in my opinion, doesn't have really any relationship with God, or she doesn't go to church as far as I'm aware. So it's kind of interesting to see that. But anyways, overall, really great video. I enjoyed hearing more about you and your life and getting to know you more. See you next week.